Yo, what's up, guys? The Insane Game Freak here. I guess if we were to call this my top 5 Nintendo games of 2015, and some of you might be asking, why isn't it just top 5 games of 2015? Well, I'd rather not mislead you with the title, and two, because I don't own a Microsoft console, so that's irrelevant. Hell, I don't think there was enough Microsoft exclusives to even do to put in a top 5 list anyway. And then Sony, I still own the PlayStation 4, and the only two games I played off of the Sony console off of this year, was Pirate Warriors 3, which I would argue has worse controls than Pirate Warriors 2. And then J-Stars Victory Plus, which is just a clunky fighting game. I mean, as I said, J-Stars is like a fan service game. That shit doesn't really mean anything in the grand. Like, in terms of like an actual game, it's just kind of like mediocre as fuck. So I thought it'd be fair to just do a Nintendo list, leave it at that, because those are the games I played the most of this year anyway. So let's start off. Number 5, Super Mario Maker. I know a lot of people are gonna be mad that that's number 5. A lot of people, for a lot of Nintendo fans, that's their game of the year. I'm not gonna call it my game of the year for a few reasons. The first reason was, and I think I've already mentioned this a few times this year anyway, the Wii U's kind of burnt me out on platforms. It's one of the reasons why I didn't get Kirby. It's one of the reasons why I didn't get fucking Yoshi. I'm just kind of burnt out on platformers, and that's been kind of like the Wii U's bread and butter. Like throughout these 3 years, that's all it's really been. And granted, that doesn't take away from Mario Maker, because Mario Maker is still a great game. Mario Maker is probably one of the easiest like level creators I've ever seen. I have fun with it. I've made a few levels of my own. I've played them. It's nothing against the game in itself that puts it at number 5. It's just that I'm kind of burnt out on the platforming genre. Like how by the end of next year, I'm pretty sure I'll be burnt out on RPGs. So, good game, just not like my absolute favorite, because I've been playing platformers like forever. And so at this point, it's just like, cool game, have fun with it, but I haven't really. It doesn't have the addictive nature that I thought it would for me, and I didn't think it was going to, because it's just like, at the core of it, it's still another platforming game. It's just a platforming game with the most iconic platforming character of all time. And oh yeah, you can make all original and ridiculous levels, but you still can't have slopes, right, Nintendo? Number 4, Fatal Frame. Hey man, when you gonna show the game box? I can't. It's digital only in the States. Nintendo. But yeah, Fatal Frame 5 made it into Blackwater. This is the first Fatal Frame I've played. It's also probably, it seems to be, I wouldn't say it's it seems to be around the most negative reviewed one. Which, if that's the case, then that means the other ones must be on some god tier shit, because I still had a lot of fun with Fatal Frame. Now, I think I liked it primarily because of how different it was. It's one of those games that feels very like PlayStation 2-esque in terms of controls, but and that's just anything when it comes to walking and moving around. And then you got things like the game pack, like the battle system, which to me is probably the most addictive thing to do. Like, if they had like a challenge mode where you could just go and fight like hordes upon hordes of enemies, I probably would be more inclined to play that also, because it's surprisingly fun. As an anime fan, I don't really give a shit about the whole. As an anime fan, like the Japanese culture stuff, was always intriguing to me anyway. So I've been hooked into the story about how all these girls have been taken up there and turned into these like priestesses, and they're all the little maidens, and you have to put them in this weird half-dead state in these black coffins. Like the shit is interesting, and the imagery is cool, and I like the character so far. Although Ruri cannot be trusted for shit, because apparently she doesn't know when and when not to get out of trouble. I'm serious. I'm fucking tired of saving you. Granted, that's probably my biggest issue with the game is how much backtracking you're doing. And not even the backtracking itself, but really more so the reasoning behind the backtracking. Because the reasoning behind the backtracking is almost exactly the same as the other games. Like, it's almost exactly the same every fucking time. I'm not going to spoil what that is, but you'll figure it out probably within the first few missions of the game. And go try the demo, because that's out there, and you can try that for free. But I really had a lot of fun with this game. It's surprisingly addictive. It's a horror game. It's one of the few horror games that you got. So I say, pick it up, have fun with it, try it out. Number 3. This probably ain't gonna be on nobody's list. Like, nobody's. but it's on mine. Well, yeah, my number 3 is Codename S.T.E.A.M, which is fucking ridiculous to most people because it's like Codename S.T.E.A.M. Why is that anywhere on anybody's top anything list? And see, the thing about Codename S.T.E.A.M, I don't think Codename S.T.E.A.M was a bad game. I actually got really into Codename S.T.E.A.M. Like Codename S.T.E.A.M, I have beaten 100%. And then I've also beaten, like, I've gotten all, like, you know how you beat the main game and then they have the like, 3 coins you get in each level. Got all those. And then I've been casually doing some of the extra challenges, like the whole, you know, no gauge. You don't know how many, you can't backtrack on your steps. And I beat the game before the update came out. Like, it wasn't like the update came out and I was like, yeah, man, I'm totally now gonna play the game. No, I beat the game before the update came out. So I beat it with the slow, because I didn't really find it that slow personally. It was really cool. I think the biggest problem coming in is funny because it's kind of funny and sad that this game, being a game that really doesn't do either one of the genres it's going for all the way. Like it's see, Codename S.T.E.A.M is pretty much a combination of an RPG, a turn-based RPG, or like a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter. And it never really takes either one of those elements and goes all the way with them. Like it has barely any RPG elements to it, and the first-person shooting side of it is kind of just the basics of a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter, whatever way you want to take it. And what kind of sucks about it is that I'm pretty sure that was intentional to make it more accessible, and the game has sold, I think, a little bit over 100,000 copies. The game has been out since I think like earlier this year, and has only sold a little bit over 100,000 copies. If I would be surprised if we get a sequel, which sucks because I like the game. I feel like there's a lot you could expand on with this game, so it kind of makes me mad. And I also like the whole references to all the kind of classic storybook and old school fairy tales. I mean, the Wizard of Oz is so overly representative; it's ridiculous. Although part of me enjoys the variety in characters. And I think the other thing that kind of hurt this game was primarily just due to the fact that a lot of the levels, especially the later half of the game, turn into like gauntlets where it's like something tells me you're not going to get it on the first try, which means you got to replay a level. And Codename S.T.E.A.M levels are not what I would consider short, so I think that also added to the frustration. Although if you were a lot more open with your character choices, you really didn't have that big of an issue. Although there were obviously characters that were not designed for all these levels, in which case you were in a really shitty position, especially with the ones with different objectives like kill this thing before time runs out, even though it's on the other side of the goddamn map. Because if this thing gets to the other side of the map, you're dead. But I liked it. And it was top tier for me. That's why it's my third favorite game of this year. Please make a sequel! We're not gonna get a fucking sequel. Number 2, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, for someone who, like me, who's been starving for an RPG for like the last, I don't know, 3 years or so on a Nintendo console, playing for on the Nintendo home console. Not the handheld console got me covered, which is why it didn't hurt so bad. But like, it was getting to that point where I was like, man, I really want like a Wii U RPG. Xenoblade was like, bro, don't worry, I got your back, son. I got your back. Now, I've played very little of the first Xenoblade. I own it. Like, I own a physical copy of it, but I never got to play it. I didn't buy that until like maybe a year or so ago, and then I only played like maybe the first few hours of it, and I just didn't get hooked on this. Chronicles X was completely different. For some reason, I got completely hooked into that real quick. And I've been loving the hell out of it. I don't really agree. I never had the issues that some people had with the faces and the animated look and how it looks so different from Xenoblade and how they look less expressive. I just had a lot of fun, and it's not, and it's also an RPG that doesn't dick around. It's like, look, you're gonna get the info dump in the beginning of the game, and after that, you're just gonna have fun with it. Because really, that's what it is. It's like you get that giant info dump at the beginning of the game, like most RPGs do, and then it's like, run off to the races and just do what you need to do. And it's like, cool, fuck it, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do, and it's addictive, man. I will say the Xenoblade's gameplay style is not my favorite in terms of RPGs, but it has a surprising amount of depth to it, and I've become a lot more. I've enjoyed that battle system way more than I thought I would have, because considering it, I kind of fell into a lull with the original Xenoblade. The fact that Xenoblade Chronicles X has had my attention for over 30 hours. It automatically says that it did something right. It kind of, and I will say, I kind of agree with Game Explain's review of it, Derek's, where he was like, "This game makes me want to go back and play the original," because that's kind of how I feel like. Depending on how long it takes me to beat this game, which might be 6 or 7 years, depending on how fucking ridiculous the shit gets later on, I might go back and play that original. But for right now, Xenoblade Chronicles X is my second favorite game of this year, and deservingly so. But I cannot wait for Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem next year. Just saying. Just saying. No hate on me, bro. Don't tase me. Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me. Number 1. You thought I was gonna do the theme song. Fuck that. I'm not doing the commercial. Everyone else does it. Fuck it. We're not doing it. I'm not gonna do the Squid or Kid thing either. We're not doing any of that. We're gonna keep this simple and basic, because every time we get into pun territory, shit gets terrible. We're not going down that road again, god damn it. Yeah, Splatoon is my favorite game of this year. That's not, and one of the reasons why is because it's probably the game of this year that surprised me the most. I thought I would enjoy Splatoon. Oh my lord, I didn't realize I enjoyed Splatoon way more than I thought I would. For someone like me who doesn't like shooters, I don't like shooters, which is why it's one of the reasons why I give Codename Steam props. There's another game where it's like, I don't like shooters, but you got me to play a shooter, which means that's a good game. To me, in my opinion, that's like one of the best types of games you can have. If you can make someone get into a genre, you're doing something right. If you make me give a fuck about shooters, you're doing something right. And then this is the new IP. I love the music. I love the character designs. God, where's that sequel at? The free content updates. Man, I have over 130 something hours in Splatoon. I love this game. Love this. I can't even really express in the words, because I like the mechanics. I like the way it feels. Gyro controls all day. If you're using the right analog stick, you're a scrub. Get the fuck out. I love what Splatoon has created. It's created another Nintendo IP that has garnered a ridiculous amount of attention in a very short amount of time. This game is literally only about 6 months old. It's insane. About 6 months old. And that's nuts to me. And I love it. I can't put into words really how much I've enjoyed this game. I like the variety in weapons and how ridiculous the weapons get. I mean, we went from shit like a basic like water gun to fucking ink brushes and buckets and goddamn rollers. Granted, the rollers were in the game before. That's not the point. Went from like, you just got like the creativity. Some of the best boss battles I played this year. Like, that's not even a fucking argument. Like, that final boss has got you. That's probably been one of the best Nintendo final bosses in like years, dude. Bruh. So, Splatoon is my favorite game of this year. Fucking love it. It's a great game. I would tell people to go play it, but if you own the console, you probably already own it. I mean, the game sold like, I think it was just announced it sold over 1 million in Japan by itself. I think the game's like around 3 fucking million, 2 or 3 million at this point. Fucking, I'm so happy that game is done well, and I hope to see sequels. I already know we're gonna see sequels to that in the future. But those are my top 5 favorite games this year for Nintendo platforms. Please leave yours in the comments section below, or just your favorite games of this year in general. It doesn't even have to be Nintendo focused. I'm just saying that because you're not gonna see any PlayStation or Xbox shit from me in terms of that. So, have at it. What are your favorite games? What did you play? Fuck, I ran out of things to say. Fuck it. I hope you enjoy your holidays. Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Shalom. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game. Play to win. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.